My distinguished guest today is Dr. Houman Hemmati, co-founder and chief medical officer of Ophthalmology Biotherapeutics. Ophthalmology Bio is developing precision-targeted peptides aimed to increase the duration of intravitreal drugs for retina diseases such as geographic atrophy and wet AMD. Welcome to the OAS podcast.
Thanks so much for having me.
Wonderful. Good to have you here. So first, why don't you just tell us a little bit more about Ophthalmology and what you're working on over there?
Yeah, Ophthalmology is a very exciting new company. We decided to treat an unmet need in retina, which is to take existing, best performing intravitreal drugs, whether they're anti-VEGF drugs or drugs for geographic atrophy or anything else, and not try to improve the efficacy of the drug, but rather keep the efficacy and prolong the duration of activity. One of the key problems of the drugs is their monthly or bi-monthly dosing frequency, which is not good for patients, not good for the physicians, and not good for the payers. And so we wanted to address a problem that can really help everybody by creating something that leverages the efficacy of the existing best-in-class drugs, but with a reduced injection frequency into the vitreous by basically leveraging the vitreous gel as a sustained release polymer instead of doing what others have done over the years, which is to inject a polymer into an eye that's already filled with tons of other polymers.
Very interesting. So here at OAS Retina Summit, what are the big updates that you have to share for our listeners?
Yeah, it's exciting for us. We've spent the last few years now since our inception working on developing multiple different binders to the vitreous, short peptides that don't reduce the efficacy of existing drugs, but which covalently modify kind of the non-business or non-binding end of them, such as Eylea or aflibercept. And we've generated multiple different binders to different components of the vitreous, attached them to aflibercept, and then tested them in vivo models to see how much can we prolong the duration of activity of existing drugs. And so for aflibercept, for example, with just one binder to a component of the vitreous, we were able to see several-fold more drug after a month compared to Eylea. And that's exciting because it means that we really are prolonging its residence time in the vitreous, and hopefully we can therefore translate that into prolonged duration of efficacy as well.
And so what's the significance of that for both clinicians and patients?
Look, it just means that we're going to maintain the efficacy of Eylea or anything else we choose to utilize, while at the same time just reducing the injection frequency. That means lower inconvenience for patients. It allows less burden on the retina specialists. Their waiting rooms and clinics won't be as full. It's easier on the payer, fewer claims and smaller claims, hopefully, overall. It means lower chance of endophthalmitis or other procedure-related complications like retinal detachment. So in the end, I think everyone benefits from it, and it doesn't come at the compromise of efficacy. And we've shown in some of our preclinical models that our anti-VEGF efficacy is identical to the innovator, to Eylea in our case. And so we're not compromising efficacy while just simply expanding the duration.
Brilliant.
Yeah.
So as you think forward 12 months, if everything goes exactly as planned,
Yes.
What milestones do you hope to achieve?
So what we really hope to show in the next 12 months is to provide proof of concept for not just one of our binders, but multiple binders, elevate using preclinical testing at least one or two into later stage preclinical testing, do more CMC development, and be ready for a pre-IND so that we can hit the clinic.
Fantastic. Sounds very, very promising.
Thank you.
Well, we wish you all the best of success here at OAS, and we'll be listening and watching to see what plays out. So,
I appreciate it. Thanks for having us.
yeah, thank you for joining us on the OAS podcast. I'm your host, Carrie Powers.